Blessed love, soul family. How are you holding up out there? Dharma Shakti here with episode 2 of Keeping Yoga Spiritual. How's it going? You guys ready to dive in? So, this week has been a tough week. I just have been feeling a bit flustered and, scattered, and energy being pulled in so many different directions. And I put this shirt on today because it says tough as F to remind me that I'm tough. Like, not, I can just muster my way through things, but that I'm tough, that my spirit is resilient and I can handle things. And then I realized it wasn't enough just to tell myself that. I mean, that's part of it. But that, I needed to actually lean back into the things that feed my spirit, feed my soul, keep me connected to it so that I can access that resilience of my spirit. And so today, for Keeping Yoga Spiritual, the reason I'm telling you that story is I want to set you up for the importance of Sangha. Sangha, spiritual community. Not just community, but community of like-minded individuals, communities who gather in the name of Sat. Sat meaning eternal truth. Not just knowledge, but eternal knowledge, knowledge that is universal and all-pervading. And so Sangha, or satsang, right, is when we gather with our Sangha. Satsang is when we gather with our Sangha. I was thinking about the studio too, because we should be having our kirtan this week, and I can't even gather with all my friends who play kirtan with me to even just do like a live stream kirtan with you. And so I was just reflecting on the importance of and the potency of Sangha when we have this community, and so I can just share with you this week for me, I have been leaning back into some places where I find my own Sangha, my own community. I have a friend who I would call a teacher, but he probably wouldn't like it if I called him teacher. Who I am, I'm studying my Gita every day, and we're texting back and forth and having phone dialogue about what I'm reading and how I'm feeling about it, how it applies to my life. So even as we're separated, I'm still able to dive back into my spiritual practices and connect with the like-minded individuals that are also endeavoring down that journey, because we need to lean into each other during these times. We really need to be together. And as you are probably recognizing during this COVID-19 quarantine, how much you really, really do value your friends and your family and your social circles, right? They say that we usually don't miss the water until the well runs dry. So the well hasn't run dry. There's just it's been plugged up, and we're missing the water of connection. And so Sangha is about connection, but it's about spiritual connection, divine connection, and being associating with people and places and energies that are, going to fill you up. Sangha. It's really, about connecting with community that, is working towards a North Star that's in a similar or same direction as yours. Because we got to be around people like that to stay committed to the journey. We got to be around those people when we're feeling the hardship of the journey. We definitely got to lean into those people when we feel like giving up on the journey. And that's what that Sangha is there for, to fill us up and to open our hearts again and remind us that we're not alone on the journey, whether it's because we want to celebrate something on the journey, or we want to grieve something on the journey. Sangha, community, is so valuable to your spiritual life. I mean, let's just say even outside of spiritual life, like just regular community, it's important that, we can see right now with our society being so fractured from one another, how much we're longing for connection and we're longing to be with our communities. And it's okay. That longing should make the heart grow fonder. And I wanted to make this video about Sangha to remind you the importance of your community and to not take it lightly if you're missing your community. You don't need to get all sad and depressed because you're not around them. I also want to encourage you to find ways to stay connected with your community. You can't just wait for connection to happen, and you can't just wait for life to become meaningful all of a sudden. You have to make the effort to connect. So if you're missing your peeps, send them a text, send them an audio message. Say, hey, can we have a video chat tomorrow? Like, I'm going to be video chatting with some friends of mine who are in Australia at 9 o'clock tonight, 9 p.m., because I miss them and I just want to connect with them. And they're part of my Sangha. They're a part of my spiritual life. They're my friends, but they're a part of my spiritual path. And they feed me as I'm on that path. They nourish my heart. They nourish my soul. They encourage me. They see the good in me. They remind me of the good that I am. And they edify me, meaning they speak highly of me to other people. And I do the same for them. And many of the other people that I would call the people that are part of my Sangha, my spiritual community. So, this week I was just going through a lot of different things, as we all are. And, I just want to share with you some resources. I've been tuning in every morning to Govindas on his Bhakti Yoga Shala Instagram page. At 8 a.m., he's doing Hanuman Chalisa chanting. And he's been reading a little bit from the Ramayana and sharing stories and personal experiences and talking about the mantra and why we do it. And it's just really nice. Like, even though I'm on my phone and I'm in my home and he's on his phone and he's in his home, I feel connected. I still feel like I'm plugged into my spiritual community, right? So what else am I doing that has been beneficial? I've just been, texting a few friends that are like-minded just to stay connected with them and talk about things and stay in community with each other. Community implies there's a communion happening, like communing together. And you can still commune with your peeps. It's just not the way that we're used to doing it. And so I wanted to make this video about Sangha and really bring in the importance of having that community in your life that supports your betterment and supports your growth in whatever direction that is for you. And so get your own Sangha. Like, it doesn't have to be yoga people. Just because my Sangha is yoga people doesn't mean that that's the only kind of Sangha, right? It's a community of like-minded individuals who are consciously and actively working towards a greater goal, right? A greater connection with Source, typically. So Sangha, like, do you have that? Are you missing that? And how can you bring some of that back into your life, right? So I have my teachers that I kind of been texting and staying in touch with, and, not just venting and complaining and looking for counseling. It's like, hey, can we continue our studies? What can I, and then as we're studying it, the beauty of Sangha is I can talk to these people and say, oh, I read this verse and I don't understand this spiritual teaching. It's kind of heavy. And how does it apply to my life? And, we get to have that dialogue. And that's where Sangha, I think, really is important too, is because there's a common language and a common understanding that we're all trying to progress and wrap our heads around, or rather unwrap our heads around the material world that we live in, and really embrace that spirit self that we truly are. And you got to have your spiritual community to have those dialogues and thought processes, and the people that you can ask the questions to, and get actual counsel for things in your life that you want to make good-hearted, integral-based decisions on. So another tool I've been leaning into that I'll recommend to you guys is another one of my teachers who is based out in New York. Two teachers actually who are co-hosting a podcast called Wisdom of the Sages. Wisdom of the Sages. So if you just go to YouTube and you type that in, Wisdom of the Sages, you can find all their videos that they've done so far. And they do this podcast live on Zoom, but then they upload it to YouTube. That's usually where I catch it. And it just feels good. Like, it's just a good way for me to stay connected to my teachers and connected to the teachings that I'm studying. Now, that podcast, if you're not like a super duper bhakti yoga spiritual enthusiast, check it out. It just may not be for you. That's just what I've been leaning into. Those are my teachers. And so I can continue my studies with them. And even though they live on the East Coast and I live on the West Coast, I can still feel connected to my Sangha. Is it a little more difficult than being in the room with them? Yeah, absolutely. But it's better than nothing. So find a way to just connect with the people in your life who you would love to be your Sangha. Maybe you don't have Sangha. Maybe you did through the studio or through our offerings. And so stay connected to what we're doing, even though it's through the screen. stay connected. We're all still really here. Our hearts are all still really open to you, and our hearts are all still really just wanting to serve you. We're here, so connect with us. You know, watch those meditations that are going on Instagram Live all over the place. You know, just take a moment to ask yourself, do I have Sangha? Do I have that in my life? Is that something I want and need in my life? Do I need to be held within a group where we can be supported, we can be encouraged, and we can also have some accountability? And we're also constantly learning and growing, and we're being challenged, but with love. I think those are like really important aspects that a Sangha should provide in a healthy way for you. So maybe you do have a Sangha. Are those things happening in a healthy, productive way? And maybe you don't. Just think about, you know, what, where, who, and what are the qualities of the Sangha that you'd like to be a part of. And just seek things out. Check out teachers, check out communities, check out, you know, different Facebook groups that are going on. And I know it's a little extra hard to connect digitally, and we're all realizing, well, we thought we were so connected digitally, but we're really not. Right? I know it's hard, but it's what we're working with right now. So can you just work with what you got? I bet if you do, you're going to be really glad that you did, okay? Work with what you got and find Sangha, find the spiritual community that can keep your heart filled up, and a place for you to like find refuge and feel understood and feel valued and feel cheered on, feel encouraged. I can't express the importance enough. Sangha, please, please, please find yourself a nice Sangha that can support your unfoldment to your greater good. Even if it's just 3 or 2 friends that you really, really trust, and you guys can talk about real things and be vulnerable with each other. That can be your Sangha too. But find something, okay? Find something. And remember, it's not going to be the way that we want it to be right now. But find something, right? I have my own little Sangha, my little group of female friends, and we all have a little book club that we do. I think there's like 7 of us, maybe 8, I think. And, you know, we're really disconnected right now, but we had a little Zoom meeting, and we just hung out and chit-chatted. And we're not always talking about deep spiritual stuff, but often we are. And I find that the conversation is the whole spectrum of life, and you need that. You need your peeps. So go and take some time to think about this, and be grateful for the peeps that you do have. And if you don't have any, be grateful for the people that are out there that you are going to soon connect with and feel at home with in your own Sangha with those people. All right, my friends, thank you for tuning in for episode 2 of Keeping Yoga Spiritual. Keep your life spiritual by getting the right Sangha. The right meaning the one that serves you the best and keeps you spiritually fed, okay? I'm so glad you tuned in. Thank you for joining me. I can't wait to sit down and chat with you for episode number 3. Signing out. And remember to keep your head high and your heart open wide as you continue to live your life, even if it's in quarantine. Peace out and bless up.